How long after a facelift can you have a revision? When somebody asks me about having a revision after a facelift, I'm always trying to find out during the consultation what they're not happy with. What is a revision facelift? There are some times when part of a revision facelift is a small thing, revising a scar and doing something small. So the term revision can come with something small or completely redoing everything. And realize that second facelifts are common because I operate on a lot of people that might be 50 or 52 years old when they have their first facelift, and I've been practicing long enough that they're now 66 or 68 or 70 years old and might want a second facelift. And certainly I've seen patients that I've done a fourth or fifth facelift on. And it doesn't necessarily mean that when you've had 4 or 5 facelifts that it's going to look unnatural. For me, I always like making facelifts look natural and faces look natural. Can you have a second facelift? So a second facelift is something I do all the time. Sometimes in my patients, and often it's 10, 12, 15, or 20 years later. I've had patients that have been 20 or 25 years after I've done a facelift on them. But it is a little different when we think of it as a revision facelift, and we're thinking of that within a year or two, because that implies that the patient's dissatisfied with the surgical result from their first operation. And that there's an important difference. If you have a facelift when you're 42 and you have another one when you're 60 years old, that's a revision operation. But it's not because you're unhappy, it's because you got older. And that's a big difference between somebody coming back a year later saying, I don't like it, I feel like my face is either distorted or not lifted tight enough, and I want a revision operation. For that kind of revision, I want to wait a minimum of 6 months. And it's sort of interesting, someone might ask, well, why do you wait longer for revision noses? With a nasal operation, I'm trying to do fine definition things, and I want that scar tissue to be very mature. But for facelift operations, the scar tissue doesn't have to be super mature. I don't have to wait a year or two. How much does a revision facelift cost? It depends who you go to. That begs the question, what a facelift costs in the first place, and the range of that is anywhere from $10,000 to, you can go to places here in Los Angeles where it's $250,000 for a facelift. It depends who you go to and where you're going to have it and the skill level of the person that's doing it. As a general rule, what is important is that you identify to your surgeon what you don't like, and then your surgeon looks you in the eye and gives you an honest appraisal of, can you get that? Can you, with the revision operation, achieve what you want? Usually we can. And does something else have to be done with the lift? Are you not, quote, pulled tight enough because you don't have enough volume in your face? Maybe then we've got to relift you and do some fat transfer or something else with the operation. Do you need a chin implant to give structure to your jawline in this case? So to me, the consultation's important, as it is with everything I do. If you have a problem with a prior facelift, give me a call, email me, do a virtual consult, or come in person. That's obviously the best to always do. But I would love to see you and discuss your issues, your problems, or just your concerns. Thanks a lot for watching.